I wake up to text from Jeremy being like, I've been checking the security footage. It's been testing.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How is Jeremy checking
security
footage?
I'm sorry, not security footage.
It's like, is Jeremy hacking it?
The in-park, like they do have live stream cameras set up in the park.
I'm Demi, theme park YouTuber, aka Magical Hijinks.
And I'm entertainment journalist Joey Nolfi, and we've both been diagnosed with terminal theme park obsession, and we're definitely going to spread it to you on the Park Peeps podcast.
We've got years of theme park knowledge, so join us as we serve piping hot takes, park tea, offer the best travel hacks and tips, and chat with guests in the theme park space.
So sit down, buckle in, and pull up on that yellow strap while we dispatch for the Park Peeps podcast. Demi, what is the point of existence?
That would be Casey's Corner's Corn Dog Nuggies, Joey.
I'm gonna go with incorrect.
I'm not incorrect.
The answer, for your information, Demi, is actually Cedar Point, where all coaster nerd life begins, and my dreams actually go to be crushed and then revived again.
I can't wait for you to tell us all about this on this episode, because you do absolutely have a point, or several,
yes,
when it comes to one of the craziest roller coaster stories of the last few years, and an even wilder trip you had to this iconic park that involved chaos and even the legendary Millennium Force roller coaster. Valleying?
Yes. It's more on that in a moment, and we will explain what valleying means to all of you curious listeners, many of whom may be named Demi before the recording of this podcast. But on this abbreviated version of Park Peeps, today we are recapping the opening weekend of one of America's best and most popular amusement parks, Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, where they finally kind of opened their long-delayed Top Thrill 2 roller coaster after a lengthy revamp of the original record-breaking Top Thrill Dragster launched coaster following a very serious accident in 2021.
Before we get into that, be sure you're following us on all socials and YouTube. The pod is at Park Peeps Pod everywhere. Joey is at Joey Nolfi, and I'm Demi. No, I'm not. I'm Demi, but my handle isn't. My handle, of course, is at Magical Hijinks on all socials, especially YouTube. And while we're in the home stretch before Epic Universe opens to the public on May 22nd, check out the Magical Hijinks. I can't even say my own name. Magical Hijinks YouTube channel, where all of my epic videos and foodie guides for each land with honest reviews will help you plan your day before this amazing park permanently opens its gates.
We got there. Demi, you got there. You did it.
You said all of the words that were written down for me to say.
Yes, I did. As I don't realize I do sometimes until Demi is like in the moment. I think my brain subconsciously does this sometimes. It's like, how can we make Demi say the most words possible? And then I don't realize I did it until you're speaking it. And I'm like, oh no.
And you always give me
the P's.
You always give me all the P's to say. This amazing park permanently, or even just you made me do the Park Peeps podcast. And Joey constantly complains that my P's are too hard. And if you agree with Joey that my P's are too hard on this podcast, please let us know and tell us. I want to know, because if it is, I'll try to somehow fix it. I don't know how, but I'll do my best.
It was at the beginning of our little pod life. Demi's P's were hitting really hard, and now it's like I don't even notice it. It's fine.
Listen,
totally
I
fine.
have a degree in theater.
Yes, you do.
I have a New York accent that kind of was stripped away from learning how to talk. It's not totally away, but you should have heard it before. I learned how to speak with enunciation. So when I want to say the Park Peeps podcast, that's how my brain wants me to say it. I've learned to not do that anymore, so I don't sound like a robot, but that's what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, Demi, and all of your iterations, you have a home here on the Park Peeps podcast. I'm trying not to enunciate my P's too much, and we love all of it, especially when you said twuck right there. That was really nice. You know what wasn't nice, though?
What?
Part of my Cedar Point trip,
Oh, opening weekend of Cedar Point 2025.
Yes, it was opening weekend, Cedar Point 2025, and
And I was not there.
and Demi was not there. However, our dear friend of the pod, Jeremy, aka Jerendell, was there with my best friend Dee and I. We were able to go. We stayed on site at the Breakers. It was like such an amazing, amazing time with them. I mean, those are my people. I had an amazing time with them. However, as the TikTok comments are violently reminding me and bringing into my consciousness, the weather was bad, and apparently the weather is always bad in on the shores of Lake Erie in northern Ohio in May. Like apparently Cedar Point notoriously has a bad weather opening weekend every single year, which I was not aware of. I'm not a local, thank you very much. I'm not a local. I had one weekend out of all of May that I could actually travel, and Cedar Point turns into a total mess in June, July, and August, so I am not trying to go there then. So I could only travel this weekend. And got a 2-day park package. We get there. Mama, that weather,
Yeah.
it felt like winter. It legitimately felt like winter.
It looked like it had a gray filter over it. It was so gray.
Yeah, that was actually my aesthetic choice. Yeah, this is all just my cinematic journey to Cedar Point. But no, it was very, very, very cold. It was Sunday. So we got there on Saturday, actually. We got there Saturday night, park at the Hotel Breakers, open the door to my car. The trunk like flung open, the door like flew. It was like the wind was pushing us through the parking lot. It was so bad, and I had got that sinking feeling. I was like, "Oh no, this is gonna be really bad."
How far away is it from Pittsburgh? How long does it take?
It's about just under 3 hours from Pittsburgh,
and it's completely different weather just for 3 hours away.
Oh yeah, like I mean because it's on Cedar Point is on a peninsula in the middle of Lake Erie. So it's surrounded by water on 3 sides, and it gets those, even in the summer at night sometimes, it gets really cold there. And when you get those winds coming in from the water, it's actually Cedar Point has always given me kind of spooky vibes at certain points, because when you go up so high on those rides, you are right on the water and you're looking out into Lake Erie, and it looks kind of spooky, especially at night, because it's just like large dark bodies of water just do something to my mind. But the chaos sort of began with, I mean, the hotel is very nice. It's a nice actual physical building. However, when we arrived, things did not bode well when we saw a bunch of like school children running around. I guess there were sports competitions, and somebody said there was a choir competition going on. So it was just
inside of the park?
Not inside of the park. No, they traveled to Sandusky, Ohio. Actually, that would kind of eat a choir competition on the roller coasters. I'm putting that out into the universe. Let's do it. Cedar Point choir competition.
Well, Mariah Carey already did that.
Hell yeah, she did. Hell yeah, she did. So, choir competition at Cedar Point on the rides. I'm here for it. But so that did not bode well. The next day, that is one of the most brutal days I have had at a park in a very long time. I mean, Top Thrill 2 was not running when we got there. Most rides actually were not running. The Magnum XL 200, which is a very famous roller coaster, basically the coaster that started the coaster wars in 1989, the first full circuit hyper coaster in the world, which means a coaster over 200 feet tall. Wow. The train was not even on the track. They were like, we know she's not opening, so we're not even teasing y'all and putting her on the track. But yeah, Gemini was closed. Raptor was closed.
Because it's opening weekend? Because I actually went to Six Flags Great Adventure opening weekend for the first time last year, and I've never been to an opening weekend before of a regional area park, and hardly anything was open. And I was like, how? It's opening day. Like, how are you not open?
I don't get it. I mean, you would think that they would want everything up and running. I do believe that it was weather related, just because it was so cold and so windy. Like Gatekeeper, which is a wing coaster, it's right on the edge of the water. That was not running. Raptor is an inverted coaster, was not running. Steel Vengeance, though, which is one of my favorite roller coasters in the world. It is a Rocky Mountain construction redo of an old roller coaster called Mean Streak. So it used to be wood. Now it has steel track, does all kind of inversions and everything. It is an amazing ride. That was running both days. Maverick, another one of my favorite roller coasters, also running. But yeah, the park on Sunday, like barren. There was hardly anything to do in the park on Sunday.
So you resulted to twerking around the entire park. If you have not seen Joey's TikTok/reel, I highly recommend you checking out at Joey Nofi on socials because I think you will enjoy that.
Thank you for that plug, Demi. Yes, actually, there was my mind went to very strange places that day because there was so little to do. Speaking of that demon doll at Cedar Point.
Yeah, what is that?
I don't know.
And where was that?
So she was in the gift shop of the Hotel Breakers, and I don't know what her deal is. I mean, we'll put footage, I guess, of her on stories, but she is insanely scary. Like, rounded the corner to get our Ride and Refresh drink bans, which, by the way, is also a source of terrorism at Cedar Point because...
What is that?
You have to get... So, at Cedar Point, they have a really great dining plan, actually. So you can buy an all-day dining plan for, I think with tax, it came out to around $37 per person.
Wow.
Which, it was amazing. And you can get a full meal every 90 minutes. So
what?
Jeremy was actually setting his watch for every 90 minutes. And
I love that.
Yes. And then he also was setting it for just before 90 minutes before the park closed, so he would get something at like 6:25 p.m. and then as we were leaving, he would go and get another meal. Like it totally paid for itself. It is, and Cedar Point has really good food.
So he was eating
amazing food,
full meals every 90 minutes, or was he like saving them?
No, I mean he was. Well, I think towards the end of the park day, he was like when he got something at like 6:25. I think there was at one point when we were waiting for Maverick, and he got a burrito bowl, and then an hour and a half later, when we were leaving the park, he got like a full barbecue plate.
Right. Like you just want to get your money's worth, even if you don't like finish it.
Exactly.
Oh, I get it. Oh, I get that.
Yeah.
Even if you take a bite, it's your bite.
Right.
You paid for it.
It's your bite. But they also have this amazing Oreo dessert. Oh my gosh, just one of the best desserts I've ever had at a park. This Oreo parfait. It looks so simple. Me and Jeremy lost our minds over this. But
I love Oreo and I love parfait.
They had cream cheese in it with the chocolate. Oh my god, Demi, it's so good. We need to get you to Cedar Point this summer, and you need to try this.
Well,
which Jeremy was telling me they have VIP tours for full groups that are only like $500 something.
Like
for
total?
Yeah, for like 6 people.
Like so we buy a park ticket and then like total split between a group of people is $500.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're definitely gonna do that.
Doing it.
I will come to Pittsburgh. We will do Kennywood and that other park that you mentioned.
Idlewild.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is, but great. I want to go at every park in the world. And then we will drive to Cedar Point. We'll make Jeremy come with us as well, and anybody else in our Park Peeps family that would like to join.
Sean and Alex.
Yeah, Sean and Alex, let's go.
Let's go.
We have to do this. Like this.
We'll get Jackie to the Northeast.
Oh, maybe. Well, that's not really the Northeast.
Yeah, you're right. It's the Midwest.
It's literally the Midwest.
Whoops.
It's literally like Lake Erie, right?
Inching closer and closer, I guess.
But my question is, because it's obviously it's Cedar, it's a Cedar Fair park. Is the VIP is that for all of the Cedar Fair parks? Now we need to look into this, because if that's so, we need to just go to every Cedar Fair park and just do that.
Yeah, with like a traveling band of people, maybe. But I do really, because I really want you to see this creepy doll. And so I know her name is in one of the videos that I took, because it's going to bother me now what her name was. Her name is...
Abigail.
I mean, not far off, little Abigail. But I can't see what her name is in this video, but she's horrifying. I need to know her story. She was in multiple places in this gift shop, and I need someone to respond and tell me what her significance is, because I've never seen her before. I don't think she's a park mascot, but they were like really playing her up as like this lakeside girl. So whatever.
Lakeside girl.
Lakeside girl.
Well, she's dressed like she's from like the turn of the century.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I don't know what her deal is, but
well, the turn
she's
of the last century.
the last one. Yeah, the one prior, the
She
one. She's
wasn't
not
wearing
Xenon
like
girl of the 20th century. No.
no, she wasn't wearing like thin sunglasses and jeans that go beyond your feet, so they're
Yeah.
floating in the
Mm-mm.
mud as you walk through them with
Mm-mm.
belly shirts,
Mm-mm.
and tiny little purses that barely fit around your arm. No,
No.
but okay. I mean, I love a creepy doll. Like
Yeah.
that's my thing.
I mean, we need this woman's history. But research TBD, put a pin in that. But
Great.
so back to my original point. She was looking over the cashier's shoulder while I was picking up my dining plan wristband, my drink plan wristband, and here's the kicker: if you get a fast lane, you have to wear a third wristband. Demi, it's crazy. And I even said that to them as they were putting on. I was like, this is insane. This is crazy. I had one wristband here, another one here. Thankfully, we didn't need a fast lane for either day.
I
But
was gonna say, like, I hope
mm-mm,
you didn't like prepay for a fast lane and then
no,
like none of the rides were open because
no.
you know they're not gonna give you a
I
refund.
think Jeremy asked for a refund for his on Saturday because Saturday was true opening day.
Okay.
I believe he asked for a refund for his. Sorry for spilling your tea if that's spilling your tea, Jeremy.
Bless.
Yeah, and they're like hard. They're not paper. They are like hard plastic, like laminated plastic that digs into your wrist. They are a pain all day. So I'm like, how in 2025 are we still doing this? And how I would even understand if they're like it's one wristband and it has a QR code on it.
Right.
Why do they not just have a generic one wristband thing that they load with like a couple different things into your QR code? Why do you need three separate ones? It is crazy.
Well, that's a regional park for you.
It's no, but yes, I mean, but Cedar Point
But
is,
it is a Cedar Fair park.
yeah, it's such a now it's Six Flags, but I mean it.
Well, is it Six Flags or is it Cedar Fair? Like with that merger,
No,
like
it's Six Flags Entertainment Company. Yeah,
is it really?
yeah.
So okay.
Yeah, but I mean,
Huh.
this is the other thing is that people in the comments on my TikTok complaining about stuff were like, "Oh, it's a very Six Flags move," and I'm like, "Nah, that's not how this works. Like the companies merged, but like management is they don't just swap out all management. Like Cedar Point is still being run by the Cedar Point people." But I mean, all of this to say, was really looking for. I'm just happy if I'm with my best friend in a park. Like I'm having fun, you
Of
know.
course, of course.
And then when
Even
Jeremy showed up, just a good old time.
yeah, but I mean, clearly the whole reason why everything happened was because I wasn't there, and they didn't want you to have a good time because I couldn't get to go to Cedar Point with everybody.
Yeah,
So
it was punishment.
it was punishment
It was.
for my lack of attendance. But I
Thanks,
really
Demi.
want to talk to you about Top Thrill 2.
Yes.
And I want you to explain to everybody what it is, the history, and how the entire day for you occurred, because I think this is incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
And I think you know where I'm going to bring it back to, because I don't miss an episode.
Oh, I know where
it.
you're going.
But I want you to go first. Go ahead.
I know where you're going. So Top Thrill 2. This is officially Top Thrill 2. It is the sequel. So
To what?
it started in 2003. Cedar Point opened the Top Thrill Dragster roller coaster, which at the time was the tallest, fastest roller coaster in the world. It used a hydraulic launch. It was from a manufacturer called Intamin. They also worked on Velocicoaster, a bunch of other very well-known roller coasters all around the world. And it used a hydraulic launch system that would launch a train from 0 to 120 miles per hour and then launch you up a 420 foot or 15. Wait a minute. I'm blank. Is it 415 or 420? I'm forgetting. One of those two. Tall, top hat, twist down the other side. The whole ride was over in a span of like 12 seconds. It was crazy. The ride operated, as we saw with King Dakar and other smaller ride models of this type, like Accelerator at Knott's Berry Farm and Stealth at Thorpe Park in the UK. This ride model was sometimes very problematic, these hydraulic launches, and still the ones that are still open still have significant downtime for issues that have been somewhat perfected over the years, but it was an imperfect ride design for sure. But there in 2021, there was and I'm still like the details of it are still like it's a very careful, like tricky situation to talk about, but essentially there was a catastrophic accident that occurred on the ride in 2021 that injured a woman very badly. She survived, but the ride remained closed after that happened. And Cedar Point didn't announce what was happening with the ride for a very long time. They finally confirmed that it was being revamped, not by Intamin, but by a new company called Zamperla, who, I mean, they are known for roller coasters, but they also make a lot of different flat rides as well. So, but they are definitely not experienced in creating or handling a coaster of this size. Like a world record-setting coaster definitely was way out of their wheelhouse.
Right.
So, coaster enthusiast community was kind of cautiously optimistic about this. But when they announced what was happening to the ride, essentially what the ride is now is, instead of launching from 0 to 120 and then just completing the full circuit that way, it does something called a swing launch, and it uses a magnetic launch system instead of the hydraulic launch system, which is much more reliable and is widely used on a lot of coasters, including Velocicoaster or Hagrid's. So it uses a transfer track. When you start out in the station, you go out onto the launch, and then the transfer track closes behind you to get the next train. So you're out on the track. It launches you to, I think, 74 miles per hour first. You go halfway up the giant spike, or the giant top hat. Then you roll backwards, and then it launches to 101 miles per hour while you're going backwards. They added another 400-something foot tall spike that is vertical. You travel up that spike, come back down, launch to the full 120 miles per hour, up and over, and complete the circuit like the old ride used to. So, that being said, because they used a new manufacturer that was not as experienced, there were some issues last year, because this ride was supposed to open last year, and it did, but it only ran for about 8 days.
Yeah.
And there was, nobody knows, well, obviously some people know, but it has not been publicly confirmed or announced what exactly the problem was. But it was discovered that there was some sort of very serious issue. Lots of people believe it was with the trains on the ride and not necessarily the track or anything. But it forced the ride to be closed all of 2024. So it did not open beyond those 8 days.
Yeah, I thought I was finally going to go to Cedar Point last year because I was like, oh, I'd love to go for this because I love King Dakar, which has now been taken away from me,
ripped
without
away,
warning, destroyed before my eyes.
Yes.
But it never opened.
Nope. Unless you were there opening weekend last year, but there was like a whole bunch of vloggers there. Everybody was like celebrating this ride. 8 days, and then it closed. And it closed, I think, like a week before I was supposed to go last year. And the Cedar Point was being really funny on their website. I mean, not intentionally, but like any chance they could get, they were like, their message on the website said, due to an issue with Zamperla, the ride's manufacturer, Top Thrill 2 will be closed for the whole summer. Yeah, it was, I'd be so mad.
They literally just threw Zamperla under the bus. They were like, we're not taking blame for this. This is all Zamperla.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't blame them. Yeah, I don't blame them. I mean, you can't, I mean, it was a pretty, no matter what the issue was, it feels to me, if you're working on this level and this caliber of theme park, those kind of mistakes feel, I mean, very, very, very preventable. Because obviously now they're doing whatever it was. They've seemingly corrected it. Although it has, as I'm getting to, of the 3 days that Cedar Point was open since Saturday, this ride only operated on 2 of them.
Oh my gosh. I just have to tell you something. I realized, I don't know why I didn't connect it before. Zamperla is the group that also works on Coney Island's Luna Park.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's like they have a whole bunch. It's like a, what do you call it? They're like
a family, quote unquote, company, right?
Well, I don't know about that. I'm truly not sure, but
that's how they always like came across to like, that's how they would always advertise to us. Like when Luna Park was, I think they were like sold to them or something. I'm not really sure. I have to look that up. I was not prepared to talk about this because I just realized this was happening, but this happened. But yeah, now we need to look into that. And oh gosh, we should do a deep dive into Zamperla.
Well, it does. The newer park operated by Zamperla. So no, you are absolutely correct. And they do, yes, no, thank you for bringing that up, because they do That park is where they put a lot of their ride models to sort of show them off. And I would think that you would take any potential person who is interested in buying a Zamperla ride. You'd
Yes.
be like, oh, go to Coney Island and see all of our rides.
It literally feels like a showcase. Like now that I like think
That's what
about
it
it,
is.
like
Yep.
when you go, because I used to like I would go to Coney Island like once a year, like because it's like, and the thing is like half the time when my grandma would take me, it was so expensive. And it's still so expensive to like do a day in Luna Park. So we would just kind of like, you can like walk around, like you don't have to like, which was nice. And like I'm thinking back to it, I'm like, because like some of the rides are just like, they're very like basic, like almost carnival, kind of rides instead of like really big thrill rides.
Yeah.
And if you really kind of look at it, it literally feels like a show floor.
That's what it is. That's essentially what it is. And
that's so crazy.
But I mean, what you're talking about, like that scale of ride is what they're used to. They are not used to a 415-foot tall, 120 miles per hour roller coaster. So everybody in the coaster community was like, this is the strangest choice to redo this ride of this scale, because they have never done anything like this before. And I don't think after this we'll ever have that.
Chosen for this?
Who knows? Nobody, no clue. Absolutely no clue. There's speculation that Cedar Fair at the time, which was Cedar Fair, did not have that good of a relationship with Intamin because of the issues that they experienced with Top Thrill. So Top Thrill Dragster, I mean, in its original iteration. So I don't know. That's unconfirmed. This is all rumor, but no idea why they went. But Intamin was not involved. So I don't know. So, needless to say, there was a lot of anticipation for this ride because essentially it's been closed since 2021 with 8 days of operation in between as this brand new ride that Cedar Point put a whole bunch of marketing money into, and then it couldn't operate for all of last summer. So the first day, Jeremy and I wasn't there on Saturday. Jeremy was there, and he said he got to the park. Jeremy likes to rope drop. He was even rope dropping Cedar Point.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
I can't. Jeremy.
When does he sleep? Jeremy, when do you sleep?
Jeremy. He doesn't. But, and let me tell you, that boy's energy, it is up all day. Me and Dee were like ready to crash, and Jeremy was like, hi, biscuits, like on his little...
He must sleep with an IV of caffeine. Like
Probably. I would believe it. His blood is pure caffeine at this point.
We love you, Jeremy.
Yes, we love you, Jeremy. But he said that it didn't open until much, much, much later in the day. He did get to ride it on Saturday, but apparently it opened for a very small window on Saturday. Sunday, like I said, so many rides closed. The conditions were so cold that even as we were standing throughout the park, we saw Millennium. Oh, this is the other thing. Millennium Force, which is another iconic roller coaster, it opened as the world's first full circuit giga coaster, which means over 300 feet tall, opened at the turn of the millennium, hence why they call it Millennium Force. And this ride, it was when we were watching it testing throughout the day, crawling over the hills, like moving at a speed that I have never seen this ride move before because it was so cold and windy. We noticed towards the end of the day, it was not cycling anymore. They never opened it. Then we heard reports from people when we were getting off Maverick. They were like, oh, Millennium Valleyed, it valleyed. So we run over to this spot where you can kind of see, because there were two spots that Jeremy and I were thinking it could have valleyed in. And we ran in the park to where we thought we could see it. Sure enough, the first spot that we saw, the train is just sitting there between two hills. So valleying means, like sometimes on a ride like Top Thrill 2 or even King to Ka, people might remember, when they launch, they sometimes do not clear the hill. More on this later with regards to Top Thrill 2. But
I had to roll back once on King to Ka and I cried.
But that is such a good experience though. Like that is such a sought after experience.
But I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I didn't get back on and I rode a carousel instead because I was so afraid. But I didn't know that was like a normal thing. Like imagine like you're on like one of the most intense coasters in the world and it just doesn't, and it just doesn't do the thing and you didn't know that's
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They really, I mean, they do have, I will say, in the park's defense, they do have signs all over the place that say
Oh yeah, but I
there
don't
is a,
I don't know
yeah,
how
who
to
reads
read.
those? Who reads those?
I don't know how to read, Joey.
But it's totally normal. It happens all the time with these rides. Uh, so that's called a rollback. A valley is when a coaster is sort of caught between two elements and there's no propulsion system like a launch, because when a Top Thrill 2 rolls back, they just reset it and launch it again until it goes over. But a valley, there's no sort of system. So the thing sort of doesn't clear the hill and then it goes backwards on the circuit and just kind of goes back and forth until it comes to a complete stop between the two instances, because there's nothing else to propel it except gravity. So they have to get a special device, push it through the rest of the circuit. It's a very long, complicated process. And
so it's not just like a bunch of people like pushing it. I just imagine just like a bunch of people like pushing a car in neutral.
Like people at stores when they need to get something high off the higher rack and they use the stick, they're like pushing it over the hills with long broomsticks. They're like, "Come on, Millie, we can do it."
Don't make fun of me in the grocery store, Joey.
Trying to get something off the top shelf. Yes, equating trying to get a box of cereal off the top shelf with pushing a multi-million-dollar roller coaster that is valleyed through the circuit. But this, like, all the coaster nerds, it was so funny. We were all at this one spot in the park, like trying to film, get it. And Jeremy and I did get it on video. That is on my TikTok now too. You should go check it out. It's really eerie seeing this train sitting there because Millennium doesn't valley very often. I think I saw somebody say the last time they heard that it valleyed was in 2013. I cannot find record, like concrete. It's not like documented well enough online to know it for sure exactly when the last time was. But I believe it has not valleyed since then. So that is a very rare occurrence. It was really cool to see that, actually. But again, this is like due to weather and Top Thrill 2. I had one of the most aggravating experiences I think that I have had because the anticipation was so high. It was so high for this ride. And throughout the middle of the day, when we were getting off Maverick, we were walking back toward the front of the park and Jeremy just starts running. He just starts running. And I'm like, "Jeremy, what's going on?" He's like, it's testing. We saw Top Thrill 2 going. We ran to this ride, as did everybody else in the park when they saw this thing running.
Yes, if you see Joey's videos, like it's just like it looks like everybody inside the park just all
running.
Went to the same spot.
Fully just running to this. And by the time we got there, the line was huge. So we're all standing there watching this thing test. And I would say by the time we got there, it was clearing the hill, but it was doing it like it was inching over the top hat. Like it had just enough power to get over. It was not seamlessly going over.
So why does that happen? Is it just weather or is it just...
I think it's because, 400 something feet in the air next to a lake, not only number one, is it colder, which compresses the track and makes the mechanisms not work as fluidly.
Oh, science.
It's also windier up there. And when you get 400 feet in the air and a coaster is trying to clear a hill, if you have winds blowing on it all kind of different ways, that's going to significantly impact its ability to just go over the top.
But there's also nobody in the cars either. And when there's more weight distributed within cars, like when you have like people on it, like sometimes like just like in like any coaster, like if depending on like with the weight distribution, like you could go faster one day, you can go slower at another time.
Well, yeah, I mean, and this was another thing that dumb TikTokers were in my comments. There was one guy that was like, "Oh, it wasn't clearing the hill with nobody in it. What did you think was going to happen when the riders get in it?" And I'm like, do you know science and physics? Like when riders get in the car, that means it goes faster. Because
I didn't know, Joey. I'm so you don't make fun of my TikTok comments
on your burner account trolling me as a.
Oh my god! Imagine I made a burner account trolling you.
Yes,
I kind of want to do it now.
Please do it.
Just to annoy you.
See if I can clock it. See if I can clock which one is you. But yeah, you are now cosplaying as this like burly, bearded Ohio man that is trying to shame me in my comments, being like, "What did you think was going to happen with more weight in the car?" Like, don't step to me. I'm a coaster nerd. More weight means faster. So, but this thing, it was inching over the top. But every time it would clear it, everybody in line was like, yeah, like it was like a sporting event. It was so
like
funny.
A communal moment.
Yeah.
Like it looked like I was like jealous because like it looked like so fun to be around all that energy.
It was a good energy. It was really good energy. And then that energy turned into bad energy because as it started getting a little bit colder, you could feel the temperature drop, and more people were getting out of line because I think Jeremy and I had it in the back of our minds. Dee's just along for the ride. Like, Dee loved just every moment. You know, Dee loves to go to parks with me, and anytime I need to go to a park, like, Dee will go there with me. But she's not a coaster nerd like me and Jeremy are. I mean, she likes them, but she's not, all up in the science business of it.
She's me.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
She appreciates them and loves them, but she's not like pulling facts out of her back pocket like Jeremy and I are. But Jeremy and I were just kind of like, do we say it out loud? Like, we know this isn't opening, right? Like, this is not opening, but like there was just so much anticipation for this that we couldn't get out of line. We couldn't bring ourselves to do it. And there was a lot of people there. The line, if we had stayed in the line still probably would have been about an hour at this point. So this was like 2.5 hours into the waiting process.
You were standing for 2.5 hours.
Oh yeah. And
yeah, I would have abandoned by then.
Because the weather forecast for the next day was saying that it was going to rain all day, and we were like, if it rains all day, this is not opening at all. So this is our chance.
Okay, then I would stay.
So we continue waiting, and it starts rolling back. And with each rollback, the rollbacks get more and more frequent. And we're like, oh no, it's not happening. But they let us keep standing in line. It's not like we were just standing around twiddling our thumbs. We were in an organized queue for this ride. So the park employees knew we were doing this. There were park employees at the front. They knew we were all doing this.
Right.
And it finally gets to a point then where they get, like, I want to say it had to have been at least 14 consecutive cycles where it didn't roll back at all. And everybody was like, oh my God, yes, we're like, how many successful ones do they have to do before they open it? And then after like the 14th successful one, they come to the front and they're like, the ride's not opening.
I knew you didn't end up riding it, but like hearing that it went 14 times, I didn't realize that should not, like, and you have that hope. You finally have that glimmer of hope, and then it's just shattered. It's crazy. I mean, but also, like, okay, my question is, yeah, you're right. Like, one, what is, like, the amount of times it has to go over
idea.
For you to ride it? Is there something else that we're not physically seeing that is part of that situation? But also, like, okay, yeah, maybe it's not going over, but, like, or maybe it's finally going over, but it's, like, and they're, like, whatever the reason that they're saying no, it's, like, but you could try. Like, are people going to get hurt if it rolls back?
So
like, what's the deal?
So 2 things.
Okay.
One, whether nobody in their right mind is going to criticize a park for shutting something down due to weather. That is a safety thing.
Maybe it was just that.
It's a safety thing. I get it. The parks have our safety. That is the top of mind for them. I get that. My issue with this is, why would you let a group of people this large? It wasn't like it was just 5 of us standing around. This was a mass of people in the organized, dedicated queue for this ride. You knew we're all sitting there watching this thing test, waiting for this to open. If you are park management and you know in the back of your mind that even sending this ride through with 14 or however many it was successful run-throughs without a rollback, if you know that is not even enough, if you know that even if you get that many, you're still not going to open this ride, why would you let us stand there?
I mean, I feel like they probably were being hopeful. I mean, that's all I can assume. I will say, like, I feel like if this happened at Six Flags, like, that would be on brand for them not to say anything, because I don't know what's going on over there. But I feel like I feel like they were just being hopeful, and my assumption is it probably even though they got it over, maybe they realized for weather it wasn't right.
So,
but who knows? We'll never know.
There was a park mechanic who did end up messaging me and he said something about, there actually is an issue with, even if the ride is clearing it, if the winds are too unpredictable up there, there is a scenario where the ride can get stuck on the top and just not clear it one way or the other.
No.
So in that instance, he said mechanics then would have to ride the elevator all the way to the top and physically push it over, which then becomes dangerous.
Oh my God, I would actually die. I think I would die.
I would love that experience.
I know, because you're crazy.
I would love that experience.
I don't want... The whole point of why I love these types of attractions is the speed and the instant thrill. My fear on coasters is actually a slow climb to the top. Like Nitro and Mako, all those. I'm like, I close my eyes. I hate it. I just want the drop. I want thrill. To me, just inching up there is horrible. To be stuck at the top of one of the tallest coasters, I think that would be, and especially even if it's at the top, like it could technically be kind of curved, right? Where like
the train would be like this,
right? So like you could be in the worst position,
like leaning a little bit forward. Yeah, it would be unsettling. It would be unsettling for sure.
Yeah,
but even in that, I get that, and that's the thing why I was so frustrated with a lot of these TikTok commenters was, that's not my issue. I'm not saying open the ride even in dangerous conditions. That's not what I'm saying. I think the way the situation was handled by management in that moment, because in their mind at that point, those people who work on that ride every day know if it's inching over the top, they know those are still not ideal conditions for them, as I now know as well. They should have said to us, conditions aren't ideal. We don't know if this is going to open or not. You can wait here if you want to. However, like the conditions are not conducive to opening this ride right now. And I would have left.
Yeah.
So it was just messed up on their part on like opening weekend.
There was no weather changes at that point. It was consistent weather the entire day.
It did start to get a little colder, and a little windier at toward the end. But in that sense, like I said, it kept clearing the hill. Right. And so everybody was getting really excited. And then after it cleared the hill, they let us watch it clear the hill so many times. They were just like, okay, it's not opening.
I mean, my thought for like my cynical thought of a reason, and it's a terrible one, but like I feel like it, like if this was like, I know it's owned by Six Flags now, but it's still not Six Flags management right now. It's like all like Joey said before. I don't remember if you said this on the pod, if we were just talking about it. How like, yes, it's Six Flags ownership, but it's still like the same Cedar.
It's merged. They didn't, like, Six Flags didn't come in and say like, screw all of the Cedar Fair management people who know these parks day to day. We're replacing you all with an all Six Flags team. Like the teams are mostly still in place. It's not like they came in and cleaned house. Right. So yeah.
But my cynical thought is, did they just have everybody wait there so that the rest of the park was easier for everyone? Especially on opening day, where it's like, there's probably a lot of new people, a lot of young new people working.
Demi, you are diabolical for even thinking that.
Well, you know what? Like, I've worked in things before, and like, you know how nice it is if like you have a lull in your job. That's like, especially if you're new and you're learning, and like the majority of people are just like doing something else that's not really affecting the operations or your life. Like I'm just saying, I'm not saying that's what happened at all. I'm just like, that's my cynical possibility explanation.
The fact that you came up with this says so much about you, and I stand it. I love it. I'm like, work. You know, when it's like, it says, it's like gays will stare at a woman doing psychotic behavior and be like, yes, work. Like, Demi is sitting here thinking that the park is purposely misdirecting everybody and making everybody stand in the top thrill 2 line like idiots, so the rest of the park can be free.
I mean, it's opening day. Like, you don't know. Like, maybe they're struggling. Like, the weather's bad. Like,
this
maybe
was
they're
day
struggling
2.
and okay. Well, whatever. It still doesn't matter. It's opening weekend. Maybe they're struggling with weather and figuring things out and new people. And they were just like, okay, let's just let them do that. And we'll just, like, figure out our things on our end without having a billion people, like, also interfere. I'm not saying that's what happened. But that, I'm sure also they weren't mad about it. Right? Like, I don't know.
I think it wasn't a thought.
Okay. Again, it's just, I like to sometimes throw in, like, my cynical approach.
Oh, I love it. Don't ever change, Demi. I love it.
And I'm not, like, cynical either, but, like, I like to think of, like, I love to think in situations like that, like, what could possibly be the reason? And sometimes there is a cynical reason. Sometimes. I'm not saying there is now.
And I have to just, but it does beg the question, like, and going back to this podcast episode's title, which I also have to credit another shout out to my cousin, Stephanie, for
we love Stephanie.
Commenting. So what you were saying was the trip was Cedar Pointless. So Stephanie, thank you for the title of this podcast episode. Shout out to Stephanie.
Shout out to Stephanie.
Shout out to Stephanie, who, by the way, she's always in those Orlando parks. So just be on the lookout for Stephanie and Lindsay in the parks, because they are just my beloved little icons.
They're going to be like, what do you mean look out for us?
Yeah, I'm like, look out for them. Oh, yeah, no, actually watch out for them, because they like to accost Demi in the bathroom.
No, it was so great that happened.
No, that was really nice. So they are like supporting stars at this pod.
My question that I really want to make sure I get in is, okay, what happened between 2024 and 2025 that well, actually, wait, you know what? I don't want to ask this yet, because I want you to finish.
Okay.
And then I will ask. Go
ahead. We finish our park day. Dee and I go back to the hotel. I upload my TikToks complaining about this stuff in like a funny way. Like, I wasn't doing it in a serious way. Those popped off. I got all kind of comments from people being like, well, why would you travel in weather? And it's like, I'm not a local. A month ago, I purchased a 2-night hotel package and ticket package for a weekend. The only weekend that I knew that I could travel from out of state. And I'm not a local. You don't
have to explain yourself.
But
to
Demi,
TikTok
they were like
comments.
So many people commenting this, and it was making me so mad, because I'm like,
yeah, welcome to the internet, Joey.
I know, but like, these people are just so, and then other people were like, oh, boo hoo, sniff sniff, and I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, I'm clearly saying this in like a funny, lighthearted, silly way, and I don't know, people just...
Do you remember when this was supposed to be an abridged? You do this every time. Every time you want to make an abridged episode, we're never going to have one, because we can't stop talking.
Well, we've only been recording for like 30 minutes.
46 minutes.
46 minutes, like I said, 46 minutes. But, okay, so anyway. It was supposed to rain the next day. We were not optimistic. I wake up to text from Jeremy being like, I've been checking the security footage. It's been testing. All the rides are testing. I think it's going to run. I think it's going.
Whoa. Yeah. How is Jeremy checking?
Oh, so I'm sorry. Not security footage. Not security footage.
Just like, is Jeremy hacking it?
The in-park, like, they do have live stream cameras set up in the park that are publicly viewable. Not Jeremy. Jeremy does not hack into security footage. That is not, I just misspoke.
But that's amazing. And I've been begging the parks to have that in Orlando, because it's like, sometimes
they would never.
They would never. It's like, oh, God, they would never, because they just want people to waste time.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
So, Dee and I woke up, left the hotel, like, we book it straight to Top Thrill. Jeremy's already in line. He gets on. He's on the first train which he already rode it Saturday, but on Monday morning, he's literally on the first train in the front row. Me and Dee and I watched him go. And Dee and I rode it. We got to ride it 2 times that day. Let me tell you, Demi, which I also have a full review of the ride now on my TikTok, but this ride, and this was only its 9th or 10th day of operation that we got to ride it across the past year. This ride is so insane in the best way possible. Like, listen, King Dakar and Top Thrill Dragster, I loved them, but they're kind of one-trick ponies. I mean, It happens so fast. You launch so incredibly powerfully up and over that hill. You're done. This ride, the experience of this ride is so drawn out and sustained, and it really builds in like a cinematic way in terms of narrative progression. Like you can feel that they are telling a story through physical sensation on this ride. It starts, that first launch builds such anticipation. You kind of slowly roll up, and then when you're rolling backward and that 101 mile per hour launch kicks in, it's doing things, weird sensations you've never really felt. The positive G-forces pushing you into the seat when you hit that spike in the back it's so cool. And when you're going 400 feet in the air backwards, the floater airtime you get, you just feel like you're suspended there in the air. And coming back down and hitting that final launch, you're already hauling by the time you get to the bottom of that spike and hit the other boosters. But it gives you that entire straightaway of track to feel that speed sustained that entire time versus building up to that speed. And by the time you crest that hill, you are hauling over that top hat way faster than you were on the original Top Thrill. And getting ejector airtime 400 something feet in the air is nuts. And the thing that I love about this ride now is that it's very graceful. It's not rough. It's very smooth. I actually don't think it's going to get worse. I think that this ride is, outside of whatever issue they were going through, it is a very like the trains are extremely comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
They're positioned in such a way that like it complements the forces that are happening on your body. Right. It's a very glacial is a word for it. Graceful ride. But the fact that it takes these elements in such a long drawn out way has never really been done before on a coaster of this size. Because when you think of things that are 400 something feet tall, you're getting launched coasters like Superman that just closed at Six Flags Magic Mountain, Kingda Ka, Top Thrill. These rides are all about like hitting you with the speed immediately. You do the elements, you're done. This draws everything out, crescendos to the end, this amazing feeling at the end of the ride. So you really get to sit in these forces and this physical sensation and experience them and take them in. And you really get to feel that sense of speed versus just being hit all at once with like the shock of a 0 to 120 mile per hour launch up and over the hill and you're done. You get to sit and simmer in this, and it really feels, well, it doesn't feel as intense as Top Thrill Dragster. It feels way more exciting. You kind of get to, like I said, just sort of luxuriate in the experience of this ride a lot more than you did with Top Thrill Dragster. So one of the best roller coasters I have ever been on. Definitely in my top 10 roller coasters right now. Sorry, Wildcat's Revenge. She got booted from my top 10 for Top Thrill 2, and I cannot wait. Oh, and we also got to ride it our second time. The fog had moved in.
Ooh.
So when we went up the 400 something foot spike, we traveled through the cloud layer, got to the top. You couldn't see anything but cloud. You couldn't see the ground. You couldn't see the other rides. You couldn't see the lake. It was like we were floating above a cloud. That's was amazing. So cool. It was so cool.
Oh, I want to ride it so bad.
It was amazing.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And where did you sit?
Back row both times.
Oh, yeah. Nice. You didn't want to try the front to see the difference?
No, because I could see.
I know you're a back row girly.
I usually am, yeah. And this one, I think the back row, I knew that it went higher up on the vertical spike.
Right.
And entering the spike backwards, I knew the positive forces would be stronger because we're the first one going up into the spike. And then I wanted to get whipped over the top at the 400 something feet in there. So
wow,
hands up the whole time, both times.
Of course. Of course. That sounds amazing. I'm so glad that you got to do it twice.
Yeah.
Not even just once, but twice. And it worked. Now, my question is, I don't know if you have the answer to this, but what changed from 2024 to 2025 that this ride was now able to be operational?
Nobody knows for sure. It has not been publicly revealed, disclosed, announced what exactly was going on, but the main assumption / grapevine assumption which might be coming from official sources and then just trickling down,
Right.
is that it was some sort of issue with something on the train. We don't know what. All of the trains, not just one. So it was a design, probably what we're hearing is maybe a design flaw with the trains that had to be redesigned, retested, and it took that entire time to figure that out. So
are the trains new?
I don't actually, I don't know if they ever swapped out the trains or if they just modified the trains that came with the ride.
Right.
Because they are new trains. They're totally new trains. But
well,
yeah.
New as in the ride is new, but new as in we don't know if it's new from 2024 or 2025.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. I mean, I don't know. There's somebody who knows, but
there's someone who knows.
Yes.
That's why I said I don't know if you have this information. I don't know if probably anyone really does, except for those people.
The people who were involved. You know, those Zamperla people have that information because they probably were waking up at 2 a.m. from angry texts from Cedar Point employees for the past year.
You know what's crazy? I'm on the Zamperla website because I wanted to see, like, when I was checking to see, wait, is this the same as, whatchamacallit, as Luna Park? Oh, wait, maybe it's under Thrill. Hold on. Because I looked under their coasters and it wasn't listed there. Maybe they just haven't updated their...
Exhilarating coaster. Yeah, it's there.
Oh.
Yeah, under Lightning. So that's their Lightning coaster model. Is Top Thrill 2 is right there.
Oh, I didn't realize that there was like different categories.
Yeah. So they name their ride models. So yeah, there's Lightning Lift, the Double Heart, Family Thrill Launch, Twister Coaster. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So wait, how it was 400 feet, and what was King Dakar? Do you remember?
I think King Dakar was 456 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Top Thrill 2 is 420 feet.
Okay, so yeah. I mean, I need to go here. I need to at least, like, obviously, like you explained how is differences, but like I really am so sad that I did not get to say goodbye to King Dakar.
Yeah.
And I really it will at least like feel like a version of it that I could be like, oh, I could say goodbye in my own way and at least do this new one and hopefully revisit it in the years to come. But I'm glad you got to do it. I think that, you know, Cedar Point is, as you said in the beginning, like it is like the coaster nerd capital of the world, probably, right? You know, and it's crazy that I have not been there, and I have been to other Cedar Fair parks, but it has been like number one on my list for so long, and I'm really hoping that we do get to do this soon together, or at least I get to go, because it sounds so much fun. It's just
a great place. It's a great place. With all of my gripes about this past weekend, I mean, it's a wonderful park. It has been a park that has been so important in my life ever since I was a kid, and for so many people's lives. But apparently not Sean from the Coaster Kings, who said that it had the most overrated coaster lineup.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could see how that.
We love you, Sean.
We love you, Sean. I can see how that's like a hot take for sure, of like, and because it when something is so popular, like it does become overrated sometimes, right? And this is, again, like, it's like when you think of like a coaster park, like this is the park you think of.
Yeah.
And even though there's like a billion coaster parks, but just, I guess maybe it's also like this maybe was kind of the original.
Yeah. I think I definitely would say that its reputation among the coaster wars that started with Magnum, it definitely, Cedar Point is like the king of coaster parks. And then Six Flags Magic Mountain was kind of coming for its title for Energylandia in Poland is also kind of creeping up there.
Energylandia?
Yes, but they have just like a lot of off-the-shelf coasters. They don't really have too many custom coasters there yet. So that one's still kind of, they have the numbers, but they don't necessarily have the quality. But Cedar Point, and Cedar Point is going to open their 18th coaster this summer, Siren's Curse, which is a tilt coaster, which is a crazy model. Everybody should Google what that is. Basically, you go up to this platform, you stop on the platform 100-something feet in the air, and then the platform tilts with the train on it and connects to a vertical piece of track and then releases the train down it. And so we got to see that being built when we were there, and this ride looks insane. Like the airtime that this ride is going to produce, this is going to be a world-class ride. Like, just looking at this thing and its layout and the way that it's going to, the speed with which it's going to take these elements looks absolutely wild. So we have to, when we go this summer, we have to make sure that that is open, because it's still not open. It's still it's very much under construction, but the track layout looks to be complete. So, and that fun fact, that coaster was actually supposed to go to Six Flags Mexico, but apparently there was an issue with some sort of local approval process or something, or permissions process, and Six Flags Mexico actually couldn't build it. And so I'm assuming what happened when Cedar Point was going through all of this drama with Top Thrill 2 last year, they were kind of like, all right, we need to send another new ride to Cedar Point to make up for this. So I believe that's why they're getting Siren's Curse now.
Right. I also like really didn't know about the fact that they did these like hotel packages, and there's like literally a Cedar Point hotel basically.
Oh yeah, the hotel breakers.
Yeah, because like that's not a thing for like Dorney Park, which is a Cedar Fair park. And actually, I'm like looking on all the different websites, and like there's like a tab for places to stay. Dorney doesn't have that. Some of the other ones do, like Knott's and Carowinds, but they're just like oh no, Carowinds has Carowinds Camp Wilderness. I didn't even realize, because like they're so regional. I didn't think that they would have like that kind of accoutrement.
No, they do. Like Cedar Point, yeah, they have a lot. I think Cedar Point actually has 3 on-site hotels. They have the Hotel Breakers, which, because Cedar Point it is an old place. Like, it opened in 1870 something. So it was like, it's a destination that has been there for that long, and that hotel building is very, very old. So and
how is that hotel if it's old?
It's like freshly, like completely renovated. It's beautiful. It's right on the water. It is a great hotel. The walls, and please, Contemporary Theme Park Resorts, please start making your walls thicker, please.
Oh, please, we're begging you. We can't take this anymore.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible, because the last thing I want to do when I'm trying to sleep to do an open to close park day is listen to the person next to me listening to music. Like, I can't with it.
Or just like full conversations. Like, I feel like I can't even have a conversation without like disturbing like the people in the room next to me.
No, I agree.
And I hate that. And the amount of adjoining room doors. They fired.
Yeah.
Fired. I can't take it, because then it makes it even worse, because it's not a wall. It's a door.
It's a door. It's a door, mama.
I cannot stand it. There's no way the amount of adjoining room doors that I encounter. You guys, like, I'm doing constant hotel tours. Every hotel now has adjoining room doors. There's no way that so many people need adjoining room doors. I'm sorry. Like, yes, you can have some, but like, clearly me, one person, I do not need a room with an adjoining room door. Put me in a room that does not have one. Stop making all of your rooms have adjoining room doors. It's
Shake
rude.
The table, Demi.
It's rude. Am I shaking the table?
Shake the table. No. Oh, no, that's a saying.
Oh, no, I just was like, I didn't want like the microphone to sound funny. No, but yeah, anyway. But I love that. Like, it makes it almost kind of like how like Hershey is definitely like a bigger theme park, obviously.
They have one too, yeah.
But they have 3 going on 4 hotels. They have the Hershey Hotel, the Hershey Lodge, the campsite, and now they're opening like another one. So like, but Hershey's like more like, I mean, actually, though, I don't know. I haven't been to Cedar Point. Do you feel something like, because to me, Hershey always felt like a bigger deal than something like a Cedar Point, and more like a theme park destination versus like a regional park. But you don't feel like that.
Cedar Point, I don't think Cedar Point has been considered like Cedar Point is definitely like it is a world-renowned, iconic park, and it is like the flagship park of the Cedar Fair chain. I mean, it's named Cedar Fair. So, yeah, no, I would not classify Cedar Point as a regional park. It is, I think, gets like close to 4 million visitors a year, which I think some of the Universal parks are only pulling in like 9. So, I mean, right.
I think I'm more thinking of like, is Cedar Point considered an amusement park or a theme park?
Oh, amusement park for sure.
Right. Yeah, but Hershey is a theme park. It is.
Yes.
It is a theme park. It's themed.
That's an interesting question, because I think Hershey skirts the line more than any, because yes, there is a central theme tying a lot of those rides together, but the park is like remarkably unthemed for being a theme
Right.
park.
So that's my issue with it, where because I haven't been in a while. I went this past year, and like there is definitely the theme of all the different Hershey products, and but it is basically just another coaster park with a few other rides in between. But they do have like the
Yeah.
show with the characters, like so.
Or
And
that
it's like a
laugh track
resort because they
ride.
have all of those hotels. So like I think they can be considered theme park,
Yeah,
like
because they have that chocolate experience ride
oh, I love that.
too.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because like if we're gonna let SeaWorld be called a theme park, right? Which is also a
Yeah.
coaster park, then
But
Hershey's
SeaWorld has,
definitely
but I don't know. This is a good
what defines theme
question,
park,
right?
right?
Because technically, though, like Kennywood has the theme Steelers section. Does that make it a theme park?
Oh, I don't know.
Like, does Cedar Point has a
Well,
Western theme section? Like, does that
yeah,
make it
Knott's
a
Berry
theme
Farm
park? Yeah.
is Western, but also like also all the Cedar Fair parks have the Peanuts characters.
Hmm.
So it's like what I there definitely is. I guess there might be an answer, like an official. There's definitely an official answer, but like
I would not see. I personally, there may be a right technical way to do this. I would say, in my personal estimation, I would not personally classify Hershey Park as a theme park. I would not classify Cedar Point as a theme park. Um, theme, you kind of gotta. I'm now leaning over because most parks do some level of theming. Like you do something like Phantom's Revenge at Kennywood. You make the entrance portal that you walk through for that ride a little phantom. It's literally a phantom with a hood on. Call
mhm,
it a theme. Like
right.
there are themed elements in amusement parks,
Right. Like
but
even in Six Flags, like it's DC
yeah, like the DC
superheroes.
stuff. But I am not fully pulling the trigger on calling something a theme park unless you are tipping into immersive themed entertainment. Um,
And you don't
so
think Hershey does that with their shows or their non-coaster
no,
attractions like the Reese's Cup Challenge?
no, I would not say that.
How would it become one then
Well,
in
because
your eyes?
they would need to do something. It has to approach the level of something like Universal, Disney, Phantasialand in Germany, Europa Park in Germany. That these places that are balancing giant rides with actual immersive theming, and
Oh yeah, like land theming instead of
yeah,
just like chocolate ride,
right,
Twizzler ride.
and technically the Hershey ride thing, the chocolate tour ride, is not
It's not in the
inside the
park.
park. It's like
No.
just at the chocolate factory. So I mean, there are themed elements. Amusement parks can do theming, but they are not theme parks, even though Hershey is using a sort of corporate
Right.
uh, commercial product as its narrative core, if you want to call it a narrative core of that park. But
So then in your opinion, do you think only the Disney and Universal parks in the US are the only theme parks?
no,
Is Dollywood a theme park?
yes, Dollywood to me is a theme park.
Busch Gardens, Williamsburg,
Yes.
I would say is a theme
Yes.
park.
Tampa, Busch Gardens, Tampa is a theme park.
What about SeaWorld then?
SeaWorld is a theme park. Yes.
But how? How is SeaWorld immersing me?
Because SeaWorld is building little worlds, like the animal habitats. I mean, they have that new
But
flying theater that took the place of the Arctic simulator, and you walk through the queue of Manta, and there's all the aquariums and the ruins, and you're walking through jungles and waterfalls, but like SeaWorld also
right, but
has
you
that.
could also go on Candymonium and see all the candy plastered all over the wall. I think it's I know, I'm just trying to be like I'm just trying to like I'm not even saying you're wrong. Like I'm not. I'm just trying to
Mhm.
like
No, it's a great
why are
point.
we I want to like maybe this is its own episode of like what is a theme park?
Yes. I think that yeah, I think we should start that on an episode because that is a very, very good question, and I do think maybe we can come up with like a list of like
A list.
20 parks, and then
Yeah.
we'll spend the whole episode like parsing through and being like what is a theme park and what is not a theme park, because
Right.
yeah, like Dollywood, yeah, like Dollywood has, and I shouldn't have said that it can only be a theme park if it is only doing immersive theming, because obviously there are elements of Dollywood that are not fully immersive, but it is a park that is unified by a sort of core story / sequestering of little lands that sort of all unify under one central theme, which are things inspired by / creatively led by Dolly Parton herself.
And you don't think a dancing Twizzler is in that same category? She ate at that show. She ate. If you haven't seen my Hershey Park video from last year, go. I went to their show with the characters. It's phenomenal. Like she ate Twiz.
And you know what? I'm gonna eat her, and so she will not exist anymore, and we won't be able to have this debate. I'm sorry, because I'm hungry for a little Twizzler.
Oh, I can go for some Twizzlers. You want to get off of here and go get some Twizzlers?
I think we should do that, Demi, because as you said, we turned our capsule episode into...
But I didn't even know that you were going to do that. I didn't realize that you were going to say that until I heard it, and I was like, oh, does he not realize that we're going to talk about this for a long time?
For a long time. Yeah. No. And it was fun. No, it was great.
It was fun.
It was a great episode.
I hope everyone enjoyed listening to us talk about Cedar Point and then what makes a theme park, and hopefully we can expand on that if that sounds great. And I had a great time talking to Joey about this. I'm sad I wasn't there. I'm really hoping that we can do it. And there's so much coming up for this season of the parks that are only open during the warmer months, and I'm hoping to hit a bunch of regional ones, especially with Joey. Like, we're gonna do our best. There's a lot happening. Literally, like, my entire month of August is like, I am home, I think, 1 week, the entire month of August, between Vegas HHN, Real HHN, Not So Scary Halloween Party, and
coming up.
Yes, and I also wanted to point this out. Hopefully when this is released, we'll have some information, but it's May and we have no information on HHN Orlando or Not So Scary Halloween. What is happening? Because, like, yes, you could argue it's because of Epic Universe, but excuse me, Disney World.
I think so.
Why are you not telling me when Not So Scary is? Because you know it's going to be like August 8th, and you just haven't told me.
Well, they also just dropped that other bit of news that we are not talking about today.
We're not going to talk about the other bit of news that was dropped today on May 7th, but we will be back with another episode soon of other things. I'll just say this for me and Joey, we are not going to be talking about the park that was announced by Disney Parks today, and that's all we're going to say about it. But all right, we're going to end this now. That's all for today. We will see you back here next Tuesday with another brand new episode of the Park Peeps Podcast.
Peace.
Again, follow us everywhere at Park Peeps Pod. See, he did it again. He made me say all the P's. And keep up with all of my theme park travels and videos and all of my guides and fun times over on the Magical Hijinks YouTube channel. That's HIJINX, and on all social pages everywhere.
And I am Joey Nolfi with no P's in that title on all socials. I'm also stepping up my TikTok theme park coverage, so make sure to follow along with the chaos over there, because I'm having a lot of fun doing it and fighting with people in the comments. So check in with us next week when we'll have another episode strapped in and ready to dispatch right here. So see you then.
Send Joey a troll comment. Bye.
Yeah, do it. Bye.